my channel. In today's video, I'm just gonna have a little bit of a chat with you about an online GLP-1 provider that I recently took a little journey with. And I just wanna share my feedback with you as a personal trainer, as a women's weight loss coach, as somebody who has hundreds of women kind of coming and asking me for advice on things like GLP-1s and where to get them, and what my opinions are on different providers. So the one I'm gonna talk about today is Eden. Tryeden.com. This one actually kind of popped up very organically for me. I have been seeing commercials for Eden on my TV lately. Very interesting commercials, by the way. But I decided, let me go take a look at that one. If you guys don't know, I have been kind of exploring GLP-1s for years, way back before they were even remotely as close to as mainstream as they are now. But the reality is now they are very mainstream, and as somebody who offers assistance with fitness and nutrition and weight loss for women, it's very much a part of my daily reality that we are discussing things like GLP-1s and who should use them and who shouldn't, and how they can help you on your fitness journey. One thing that I always try to make clear right off the bat is that I am completely non-judgmental when it comes to whether or not you decide to use a GLP-1. I think we are all educated, consenting adults, and if this is something that you feel like is going to make your journey a little bit better, then that is your decision and your decision alone. All of these providers go through real doctors, assuming these are all legit providers, real doctors, real prescriptions, real medications. So with that out of the way, let's talk about Eden itself. So what I did was I just kind of went through the journey with Eden, starting with their online quiz. Eden, much like all the other GLP-1 providers out there, will have you start with a quiz where you're gonna kind of input some very basic information right off the bat. Current height, current weight, what your weight loss goal is, very basic things like that to kind of get the process started. One thing that is very, very unique and exciting for a lot of people is that I discovered that Eden allows people with a BMI as low as 23 to get GLP-1 medications. Now, if you're not aware of what the typical guidelines are, most providers have a strict BMI standard of 27 or more, which would be in the overweight category. So you would have to have a BMI of at least 27 with one other weight-related condition, or you have to be obese, which is a BMI of 30 or more, in order to qualify for medications. Now, I know of only one provider that allows for cosmetic weight loss, and that would be Willow. If you guys haven't been familiar or seen Willow around, I highly recommend. I will leave a link down in the description box for my Willow content. Willow is thus far the only provider I have seen that will actually prescribe medications regardless of your BMI. Whether that's right or wrong, again, I'm not gonna get into that, but it's just the truth. So Willow has no restrictions, but most every other company does. Oh, by the way, Willow does have restrictions outside of BMI, of course, but no BMI restriction. Every other company pretty much does. Eden is the first company that I have come across that has lowered that threshold down to a BMI of 23. Okay, so what that means is that there's a very large market of people who are interested in GLP-1 medications. They are filling out these quizzes. They are trying to go through the methods to procure a prescription for these, and they are being denied because their BMI just isn't quite where it needs to be. That doesn't mean that they aren't still struggling with body image issues, maybe some health concerns, things like that. There are always reasons why we are seeking these medications, why we want to lose a little bit of weight, and Eden kind of lowers that bar for us a little bit. And they do so in a very tactical way. So if you do meet the BMI requirement of at least 23, you are then brought to a screen where you would consent that you would be using a medication that's basically considered off-label use. What that means is the FDA has approved these medications for people with a BMI of 27 or more, or 30 or more, based on what I was already talking about. So you kind of just consent to the fact that you would be using these medications, which have shown to have some benefits for people with a little bit lower of a BMI. And basically, I'm not a doctor, nor am I a lawyer, reading into this too much. From what I understood as a pretty regular person, was that if you were to have a BMI of 23 or more, you didn't quite meet the overweight or obese category, you're just consenting, saying like, yeah, I'm aware I'm not in these categories, but I still have weight loss goals, and I'm okay with the fact that I would be using this basically as an off-label purchase. And again, it would still be prescribed by a real doctor, monitored by a doctor, things like that. So you're not just purchasing something and going at it on your own. And of course, after you get done with the quiz, you still have to have your file reviewed by a doctor before they're actually going to give you the prescription. So that's the biggest thing that I want to kind of talk about with Eden, is that they do lower that barrier to entry when it comes to GLP-1s. So you could have a BMI as low as 23 and be able to qualify for the medications. Another thing that's important to note is that Eden does offer the name brand medications, which we are all familiar with, but they also have their compounded versions. They have compounded semaglutide. I'm not sure if they have tirzepatide. I did not see that anywhere. I think with some regulations that have happened over the past couple of months, they have pulled that off their list. I did see some information about GLP-1 gummies. I would be very skeptical of those. I'm not sure how effective a gummy would be in GLP-1 form. I didn't see them advertising that really hard on their website, but it is there if you search for it. I would definitely, maybe steer clear of those. It could be a waste of money, but again, I don't know. I didn't try it. So other than that, so they have those options. The name brand medications, you're gonna be paying a lot more money out of pocket. With the compounded versions, Eden was very big on specialized formulas, basically saying like they have their doctors, prescribe specialized doses for you, compounded with things that are going to help you get the most out of your medication. That's gonna be your most affordable option. When you get to the end of the quiz, this is important. Again, this is something I'm seeing Eden doing that pretty much no other company does. They do ask you to choose a payment plan. There's 4 payment plans. You can go monthly, you can go quarterly, you can do a 6-month package or a full year package. And the prices will, the more you buy, the more you save type of thing. They do offer $100 off a month right now. I'm not sure if that's there forever, but $100 off your first month, which is pretty cool. For the compound that they recommended for me, it was a semaglutide compound with B12 and there was one other thing. Off the top of my head, I can't remember. But for the first month, it was going to be $196. Every month after that would have gone up to $296. So pretty good deal as far as comparing it to other prices in the industry, right around the same. But the first month with $100 off was a good deal. Important thing to note. They do ask, once you pick your payment plan, they do ask you to put in your credit card, but they have a note there. They will not actually charge your card until your file has been reviewed by the doctor and they actually approve it. So most companies do it the other way around. They actually immediately charge your card. And then if for some reason their doctor's like, no, never mind, this person is not a fit, they would then refund you. This way, they are actually not charging you until the doctor puts their little stamp of approval on and says, yes, this person is a fit for medication, and they go ahead and order it for you. So that's kind of a big distinction there. I've never really heard of a company where they do charge first and then they don't refund you. They always do. But I think people feel a little bit more secure when you're not charged for something, when you're just not quite sure if it's the right fit for you. So that was important. There was no consultation fee that you had to pay that would be non-refundable or anything like that, so that was good to see. Otherwise, guys, I didn't actually order the medication and take it. This was just my research to kind of be able to have these in my back pocket for when my clients are asking me, where should I go for GLP-1s? And, will I qualify here or there? I like to do the research for them and for you and share it with you guys here. But those were kind of my thoughts on Eden. Overall, pretty standard as far as all the other companies I've tried out. A couple key things that made it stand out from the others that I really liked about it. One thing that was a bummer is that they don't have compounded tirzepatide. Tirzepatide is a little bit more effective most of the time, so it would be nice to see that. However, maybe that could come back in the future. Again, I would stay away from the gummies if they're even offering that. I don't, gummies, tablets, things like that haven't really been shown to have a lot of results. And if you're going to spend this kind of money on something, you might as well go for the thing that's going to be the most effective. Yeah, those are my notes on Eden. And of course, I always like to mention, if you are going to take a GLP-1, do yourself the biggest favor and make sure you are prioritizing your health, you're prioritizing your muscle, you are building muscle, you are maintaining muscle so that your metabolism is in a good place and that you can get results that you can actually sustain for the long term. If you want any help doing that, I will leave the link down below for my Simply Strong app, where we work with lots of people on GLP-1s who are getting stronger, and just kind of having a healthy lifestyle in conjunction with their GLP-1s. I'll also link a couple of articles that I have written about GLP-1s and strength training and how to make the most of your journey. And then if you guys ever have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments.